Hi, my name is Brian from Denmark, your tech fan with a triple comparison of the Oneplus 10t, the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 4 and the iPhone 14 Pro Max. Triple comparison, insane. 3 new and very different devices, also at very different prices. What those prices are, you should check out in your local currencies, because there may be a wider gap between, for instance, the OnePlus and the Z Flip 4 than to the Z Flip 4 and the iPhone, depending on where you live. In this video, I'm going to give you a broad overview of these phones through some categories to give you an idea if any of them is for you. Okay, first off, let's take a look at the design. I've just aligned them in accordance to price. The 10T is, if you know anything about OnePlus phones, almost a remake of the 10 Pro from OnePlus. Then I have the Z Fold 4, which of course stands out without a doubt because of its flipping ability, and it can flip actually into 1/2. If you're wondering what the screen sizes are of these three guys, they are all the same. It's 6.7 inches, and then of course this can more easily fit into your pocket. And then let's just take a look at the iPhone 14 Pro. This phone is deep purple color, very exquisite and looks beautiful. So if I am to give a point for the design, I would definitely give it for practical use to the Z Flip 4. All these three phones are very fast. Both of the Androids rock the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1, whereas the iPhone rocked the Bionic A16. Furthermore, actually the OnePlus has got no less than 15 antennas, so if connectivity is any issue and of importance to you, then you should definitely consider that one over the others. And I'm not saying these have poor reception, but this one is just built for superb reception of data and call connectivity. So most speedy experience goes to the iPhone 14 Pro Max and the OnePlus 10t. So which one of them do you think is playing now? You can mostly hear one. So the most not loud is the Z Flip 4. That said, it really has good quality in the sound. It's very rounded, full spectrum, and very nice stereo perspective. So the OnePlus 10T is a bit louder, but doesn't have this kind of the same depth actually as the Z Flip 4. For the absolute brute, the iPhone 14 Pro Max, it's very loud. If I could, I would just equalize the sound a bit on the iPhone to put up just some of the high ends a little bit to get it more like the Samsung actually. For the factory settings, you can't equalize on the OnePlus 10T and the iPhone, but you can on the Samsung. So speakers is a clear win for the iPhone, then I would say the Samsung and then the OnePlus. But the OnePlus isn't bad per se. But let's talk a little bit about gaming now that we have these games open. The thing I just actually wanted to show. In this particular game, I think, well, you can actually see it right at the top. Look at the top of the checkered flag. It's almost not in the screen. So that's kind of a thing that's a difficulty with the Z Flip 4. That not all games are optimized for this very long screen ratio aspect. And that is of course completely different on the OnePlus 10T, where it's a more ordinary screen ratio aspect, so it's a much more fluid gaming experience you'll get on this phone. And then I would actually love to say that on the iPhone Pro Max, the gaming experience is superb. Well, it is. In this game, it's actually pretty good because you almost like gotta steer only with one button pressed down on the left here, right? But if you play PUBG, and I made an entire video on this, there are some problems with the softness of the iPhone 14's screen. So go watch that video right now if you thinking about buying this phone for its gaming capabilities. Points for best gaming experience, I would actually give that to the OnePlus, because even though the iPhone has got the better CPU and the faster CPU, the screen smooshiness and soft touch is just so annoying if you're playing like PUBG style kind of games. So I would much prefer this one, and of course you have a problem with the small form factor of the Z Flip 4. The screens of the three phones are 6.7 inches, and the OnePlus 10t peaks at around 800 nits of peak brightness, whereas the Z Flip 4 1200 and the iPhone 14 Pro Max is around 2000 nits. And the problem, of course, with the Z Flip 4 is the crease in the center that you will notice. And even though it's something you become accustomed to, it's just also something that you will notice every now and then. And the screen is very good, by the way, but the point for best screen goes to the iPhone 14 Pro Max. And now for the battery size of these three buggers, you can see them up here. It's 4800 on the OnePlus, it's 3700 on the Z Flip 4, and it's 4323 mAh on the iPhone 14 Pro Max. In regards to battery life, all of the phones have a relatively power-consuming CPU, so they will all of them drain relatively fast. That said, none of these are rubbish at all. The Z Flip 4 has also been increased in its battery life, but expect no more than 1 day of this phone, I should say. On these two phones, if you use them lightly, there will be room for 2 days of operations. Can you see this? This is a 160 watts super fast charger. And which phone do you think this one belongs to? The red cable, of course, reveals it. It goes with the OnePlus, and that means in effect that this phone will charge over 90% in 15 minutes. Both of these phones are going to take you like 1 hour, and I would say 15 minutes, 1 hour, 20 minutes. So if you start charging each of these phones at the same time, then you will be out of the house and driving for 1 hour in your car before these guys are finished and your wife and children can take off, or whoever you left behind. And of course, these guys don't come with a charger in the box, so this is just an enormously big point to the OnePlus in regards to battery, just because of this charging and the charging brick itself. Then I got a criteria that's called the alert slider or no alert slider. The reason why I'm doing this is because OnePlus is famous for having this alert slider on the side, that way you can toggle off sound on, vibration and mute. But on the OnePlus 10t, that button have been spared away for different reasons, but still, of course, you got this sound on off on the iPhone. And that little point, of course, has got nothing to do with the Samsung. The iPhone will win the alert slider or no alert slider point. And now for the category of OS updates and durability. You have the OnePlus with only 3 years, or 3 Android updates and 4 years of security updates, but that is what they promise as a minimum. So it could become more. They state that at the press conference. Opposed to the Samsung, where you got 4 Android updates and 5 years of security. And then on the iPhone, of course, it's known for having 7 years of security updates of sorts. So, and this being the Pro Max model, you can expect, I would say, at least the 7 years of software updates to the iOS. So of course it's a clear win for the iPhone, and then it should have been the Samsung, I would say, in second spot. But the problem is, of course, this flippity motion, because how many years do you think this will last? So the durability of this phone, even though it's been proven in another video to be very, very good, solid and sturdy, I don't think this is a phone you will have and own for 4 or 5 years. I would definitely, if I had this phone, switch it every second year, or at least every third year. And then the OnePlus 10t comes into contention as just being a more solid choice because of the build from the start. And in regard to the camera on these 3 buggers, I've taken some macro shots, though the OnePlus 10t is the only one with a dedicated macro camera lens. And then this is a normal shot, and then it's ultra wide, wide, And then the zoom lens or zoom function on these three phones. How far can I zoom and what's the quality? Then we got the selfie camera in action. Please take notice of the bokeh. And then we got nighttime shots. Please notice the sampling, by the way, at the tree we just saw also here. And then here we got some 4K video footage. The Oneplus 10t has a tendency to oversaturate, whereas more natural looking on the Z Flip 4 and the Pro Max. But which one do you like the most? And then this video is zoomed from ultra wide to maximum telephoto on the three phones. Please watch this footage all over again, because you will notice that the iPhone 14 Pro Max actually renders the colors differently from the ultra wide lens to the normal standard wide lens. But on the other hand, on telephoto it wins. And this stabilization footage shot, I actually forgot to put on the stabilization on the Oneplus 10t, so it's excused. So it's a very surprising win for the Z Flip 4, but also of course the iPhone performs superbly, and the Oneplus 10t is also a good buy. So, which one of these should you buy? Well, if longevity is most important to you above anything else, then you should buy the iPhone 14 Pro Max. If good data, call connectivity and fast charging is most important to you, then you should pick the OnePlus 10t. And if you can get the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 4 at around half the price, for instance in the used market, I would definitely go for this one. It is a solid all-rounder, and it's actually much better than you think. There's also a cover screen, by the way, that you kind of never use. Well, I don't, by the way. My name is Brian from Denmark, your tech friend, and if you enjoyed this video, then please also watch this video or that video. See ya!